All right, and here we have it. I'm going to go over a lot of information, so let's hold off on the questions just for a little bit. I'm going to try to keep an eye on the chat. However, there is a question form. I will pin it as well. I'm going to put it right in the chat right now. I will not see these in real time. This links over to a spreadsheet. If you submit it there, I have, I don't know, 1,000 or something questions from the last one, from the last form that I filled out. I had filled out. Let me shut off all my notifications here. And I compiled them into a listing, and we got a whole bunch of stuff going on. I'm going to try to run through everything. So let's get started. Let's go right to it. I'll give you some examples and show you where to find and everything else. Going to meet Right Highs. This is going to be published. It'll be published on our YouTube. So no worries. So let's see if we can do this. So this is me. If you've seen me, Coach Robert, you see me on Topstep TV. I'm not going to go through a long introduction. That's not what this is about. We're going to get right into the API. So let's just start right off as what is an API? And I'll be stopping along the way. So I'll spew off some stuff here, and then we'll go to the chat, make sure we get a lot of it answered. This is going to be high level. Okay, so what is an API? So what the term means is application programming interface. We can see it. I'm looking on the document here. I will share this document at the end, so we have it right at the end and everybody can grab it instead of losing it in the chat. It's basically just a set of rules that in protocols parameters that follow different software applications to communicate with each other. So what does this mean? We have TopstepX platform, and we click on buy, we click on sell, we pick the instrument we want, we move our targets and stops, and so on and so forth. And we base this off of looking at a chart and a strategy. Okay, when we break a higher day, I'm going to go long on this instrument. This is my target. This is what I'm willing to risk. Click buy. That's it. So what can we do with the API? Well, the API says, well, we can use another software program on the side that we make ourselves. This is custom coding now. And we say, hey, monitor this product, this instrument, and look at what the high of day was. And when it crosses over, I want you to make an entry at that level. And this is my target. This is my risk I'm willing to take. And this is the amount of contracts and so on and so forth. It does it automatically for you. So this is what you would call automation or a bot, a trading bot. The example I like to use that you may not know like exactly what the API is. I put it in here. It's like a menu on a restaurant. So you walk into this restaurant, and y'all know I like steak, so we'll go into this nice steakhouse. We have a menu, and what I can do is I can pick which steak I want, and then how I want it. Medium rare. I want it, seared, blah blah blah. However I want it. Sides to go along with it. But I don't have to know how the kitchen actually works in order for me to get the meal that I'm looking for. That's what the API is, okay? So I don't have to know what's going on the back end, but I say, hey, I want this instrument at this time, at this product, at this price to do this entry in this target. And you code that in. I'm going to use the word coding as programming software, writing that, in that sense. I got my trusty water as well. And here's the disclaimer part. Let me make this a little bit bigger. 25? Yeah, let me make this a little bigger. There we go. The API, this is important. The API itself is a product of Project X. Now, Project X is the platform that TopstepX rides on top of. There are other companies, it's called white box or white labeling. So Project X has the code behind it and has all the processing, a direct connection over to the CME, and TopstepX for Topstep says, hey, we like this layout. Now you can go to another prop firm and they have a different layout using the TopstepX platform, just like anything else. I personally use Quant Tower. They have the same thing. So I have Quant Tower, and I can actually make my own Quant Tower platform, my own layout, color, scheme, size, font, and everything else, but it's still using the Quant Tower engine to place the trades for me. So I'm looking at it, okay? That's just simply how a white box label goes or white label goes. So that's the basis of this. Now, what it also has, TopstepX has embedded in it, are TradingView charts. Now, this is not actually TradingView. It is the TradingView charting engine, which means it runs in a different environment. And this is why you see some of the indicators, or most of the TradingView indicators in the list, but not necessarily custom ones or not all of them. It's because when you sign up for TradingView to say, hey, I have this new platform and I want to embed the TradingView charts, they give you a package. I'm going to allude to this now. We'll touch on it later. But TradingView, if you want to make your indicators or scripts in TradingView, they use something called PineScript. PineScript is a version of Python that is custom built by TradingView so they can use it for their charting. For example, NinjaTrader has NinjaScript, and that is based on C#. They just have their own version of it. So those are kind of parallel. So while we have TradingView charting embedded in TopstepX, we don't have access to the PineScript coding because that's proprietary. That belongs to TradingView. So what we have in the background is it's called Pine.js. So it's a JavaScript base, but it integrates into the PineScript language to be able to add to these TradingView charts. We can't do that custom yet. I'll touch on this later also. We can't make custom indicators yet. So this API is strictly for processing trades, making orders, monitoring P&Ls, getting account balances, OCO orders, canceling, and what else? Oh, and pull all data down for back testing. So it's basically the data side that we're looking at now, not necessarily the charting side. Although when you place trades using your custom-built API, let it run, let it place its trades. At the end of the day, shut it off, pull up your TopstepX platform, and you'll see those trades on the TradingView chart because you're looking at the same data. You have TopstepX platform, API, and they're placing it in your TopstepX account, your Topstep account. Topstep account just goes through Project X, goes through out to the CME, trades are being placed. Whether it's a sim environment, we're getting the data from CME, so it places in the sim environment if you're on Combine or XFA, or if you're in a live environment, it places it out to the live markets. It just comes back to the same area through CME data, and we can see all that information. So here are a couple of links. Again, I will give you this in a PDF, so all these links will be active and working, and I'll show you what they look like on the top up here. Once you get the API integrated to TopstepX, any of the support that goes along with it goes to the Project X team. Topstep is responsible for, hey, I've just bought this subscription. I'm a trader. I bought this subscription. Here's my account information. I need to update a credit card or whatnot, and I want to link it over. Great. Once that link happens, I'm going to show you this also, screenshots. Once that link happens, and you say, okay, my API is connecting, but for some reason I can't pull like a ticker symbol down, an instrument label down. That goes to Project X. They have a great support team, and here's the documentation for it. Project X support. When you click on it, I'll show you Project X right now. There's a contact us right here, and it brings you right down to the bottom. And you fill this form out, and they'll get back to you. They're pretty good over there. I know a lot of the staff over there. They're pretty good. The documentation for the API is here. Again, these are good links. Here is what it looks like. And in this documentation, it's pretty much everything you need. How to authenticate, where to get your key. I'm going to click on a couple of these quickly, but you'll see them. This is how you get your key. You have to know how. It's a little bit technical here, so bear with me. Where you send this curl request here to this. See, this is one thing I have to know. It's not the demo anymore. I'm going to get that updated. Okay, and I do have this on my list actually. I thought it was updated right now. It's not. I have the correct key here, the correct URL in this documentation. So you'll see this here. And once you get this back again, you'll get your information back. You put your token in, so on and so forth. Now this is what you would use for your applications. Let's say you want to place your first order. How do we do that? Again, I'm going quickly here because I want to make sure we get through this. In SK, yes, this is being recorded. You will be able to see all of this later. I need to get through it quickly because I'm getting a lot of information, and I'll get a better feel for what I can add or remove for the next session next Wednesday. So here's the connection URLs. We have to make sure we're choosing. These are all the environments that Project X Gateway provides for a lot of these other companies. And you're simply going to use TopstepX. And then here's the URLs. There's your endpoint. Here's to get to the hub. And here's the market hub. All of these you'll see. API references. Okay, I want to search for my account. Well, here are the parameters that are available. Okay, this is what we look for. This is our post function. I'm not going to go real detailed. Again, high level. Here's our post function. We search, and here's the how we search for it. And then here's the information that we get back. and we have error responses and how what to look for and what we have for success. Here's your information. You want to pull market data? Sure. Retrieving bars. This is what's required. Here is your post command. This means post command is going to send the information out and get a call back and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. This is where I need to information I get back. I need to make sure I provide all these parameters, what I'm looking for. Here's your integers. Here's your hour, minute, daily. You don't have tick charts just yet, or like range bar charts or Heikin-Ashi, but those are just coded. If you have a Heikin-Ashi chart, pull the data down to say, okay, I want a minute chart. And what number minute? I want a 5-minute chart. Maximum number of bars retrieved. Maximum is 400. I'll have this in the list afterwards. But I want a minute chart for a 5-minute chart. And then in coding, you can find the Heikin-Ashi formula online and just take your open, high, low, and close, which you'll get back. There's your request, and here's your information. You'll get the time, open, high, low, close, and volume. And you can use that information and just run it through the Heikin-Ashi formula. It's not going to plot on the chart yet. As I said earlier, we're not plotting on the chart. You're just going to use this for coding and say, okay, here's my Heikin-Ashi candle based on this, run through the Heikin-Ashi formula, or Renko or range bars. I have the range bar one built, so I can monitor it that way. And then use that information to place your trades. I'm not going to go through all these, but here's some things you can do. You can look for pending orders, your account ID. How do I place an order? This is the information you need. You're using this command for order placement. And here are the commands that you can use. Buy, sell, size of the order, limit, stop, trailing, or whatever. And yes, you can use trailing stops. This is how you can make your OCO orders also. Okay, so here we go. Back to the original documentation. I'm going to read this disclaimer. I want to make sure I read it for those listening, and then we will go on, and I'll get a couple questions going on right there. This is the important disclaimer, and it is truly important because Topstep is simply using the TopstepX API, okay? It's just a throughput. Here we go. Topstep does not provide technical support for coding, API implementation, integration, or troubleshooting. All development, maintenance, and risk associated with API use is the sole responsibility of the trader or user or coder. Trades made using third-party or custom-built API tools are not eligible for review. Read that again. They are not eligible for review, for adjustment, or for reversal by Topstep. All trades executed via the API are considered final. Very important. The use of the API access in any connected tools is entirely at your own risk. So there you have it. That is very, very important. All Topstep is doing is saying, hey, here's your account information. You want to go build yourself an API or have someone build it for you and use it? That's entirely up to you. Because it's pretty technical. Okay, let's see. I can't have people speak on here, so I have to block them. Not block, but dismiss them. Let me do this really quickly. While you can't create custom indicators in TopstepX, you can code indicators using the market data and API. That is true. You can code them. You're just not going to get them on the chart yet. It's just not available yet. But you can look at them and say, okay, how do I get a moving average? Well, you can look back. If you want a 20-period moving average, pull your data down, look back 20 candles, put it in like a for next loop, count back 20 candles and get your open, high, low, and close, and then calculate based on that. It's a little mathematical, a little algorithmic, and a little technical, but you can get the information. You just can't see it on the chart. But if you're doing coding like this and making automation, you don't have to see it on the chart. It's not necessary. Quantower is the same way. If I'm coding in Quantower, I can look at a chart. It's entirely separate. Don't have to have a chart up at all. I just code what I want to code. Goodness, excuse me. Code what I want to code. It's just going to run regardless of what I have running, what charts I have up. If I say, hey, enter on this 1-minute chart, and I'm looking at a 2,000 tick chart, it's going to calculate on a 1-minute chart. It's entirely separate. This is exactly how TopstepX works. Our Metal Maniac 400 periods. It's 400 current requests. So if you're using minute candle, hour candle, whatever, you can get it back that way. I'm going to go through all of these. C-Trader, I'll go through all this stuff. Can kind of show an example of how to create a bracket. I'm going to go through all these types of things. 400 bars. It depends on what you want to backtest. And if you want to go through some of my stuff, I'll give you my opinions and everything on backtesting, so on and so forth at that point. So that's where it is right now. But it's 400 concurrent requests that you can pull back. Just keep pulling them back. That's all. All right, I'm going to move on. Yes, practice accounts. Let me get through these. I'm going to go through some of these. I have a whole frequently asked questions at the end. Here are some important links. I put these in here that because they'll be part of the PDF. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put in here. I'm not going to put in here right now because then people start looking at it, and I want your attention right now. This is the Topstep Help Center. This is the very first place to start, and here's what it is. Okay, it's really good at telling you or explaining to you what you can do, what it's all about. It gives you screenshots, which I will be showing you, the process that you can that you use, how to create your APIs. I'm going to scroll this down so I make sure I get everything after. Where the links are, how much it costs, how to connect your dashboard. I know I'm going through this quick, but you'll be able to see it. Where you create your accounts, how they're integrated, the costs associated, how to get support. And here's some frequently asked questions on the Help Center. I'm not going to go through all these because I got a lot of these that were in the form, in the submission form, and I will put that link back in again just so you have it. If you want to submit now, I won't answer those right now. I will compile them for the next time. So here's the languages, how to get started, so on and so forth. Again, I'll go through all these in a moment, but this is the Help Center article that I wanted you to see, all your disclaimers and how to make connections. So I'm going to leave that back up like this and then come back to it. Discord channel. There's a Discord channel, okay? I am going to go here in Discord that you can see. And if we scroll down, it is under the platform hub. You can see TopstepX. There's a new one channel here. I'm managing it right now called TopstepX API. Strictly dedicated for API questions. If we see anything else in there, like, can I get a reset? Sorry, you're gone. It's not going to happen that way. And then I added this just, I think, yesterday or the day before. I think yesterday. At TopstepX, this is called a forum. TopstepX API bug reports. We can see we're having things in here as well. So traders that are using the API can submit bug reports. For example, that one that I just saw that still had the demo environment in there. I have that on my list already. And here are some things, linked orders not attaching. Some of these may or may not be bugs. I have to go through them. It's still some new ones that I need to go through, but this is where you will find it. This link, text TopstepX API, will bring you to the API channel, and then there's a bug report. A lot of great coders in there. I am not the end-all, be-all in this stuff. I'm pretty intuitive, pretty knowledgeable in some of these codes, making my own stuff, but I'm not an expert by any means, and there are so many different products and ways to do things. There's some really good coders in there. We've been having some fun over the last couple days and late at night. Thank you, 3, for putting that in there. I appreciate it. Okay, the TopstepX dashboard. Let's look at the dashboard. Actually, I'll go through these project practice account setup and the Project X dashboard and how these get built. So let's do that right now. This is all in that Help Center article also, all those screenshots. So here's what we have. I am in a trading combine. I literally just set these up the other day, and I went through the process. It took me 7 minutes to go through this whole process. This is a brand new account, just my personal information. I pretended I was a trader. I didn't know what Topstep was. I want to make my own bots. I said, all right, here I am at Topstep. I clicked on the account. I clicked on the 50K combine. I bought it with TopstepX. Then I went through this process to connect the API and get my dashboard set up. It took me 7 minutes. If I went step by step and in red and followed instructions, it brought me right through the entire thing. Top Scott, bing, bang, boom is right. You're doing a fabulous job in there as well. So here's what I have. Now I'm going to show you where to get the practice account. Under the accounts area, if I click on accounts, the one that I will see would be my Topstep 50K combine. And as you can see, on the 13th, I went and added a practice account so I could test it. I simply clicked add on. I chose practice account. 7 seconds later, this showed up in my list, and I can go back to my dashboard, and now I have my practice account here, and I can toggle back and forth. This is important because when I'm making my calls and requests to place orders and trades, I want to use my practice account. So I'll need my practice account number, and that's what I'll be using. So now that I have this, I go over and I click on Launch TopstepX, and I get to my TopstepX platform. Yay! Everybody's familiar with this now. But now I want the API access. So I go to my settings, and on the right-hand side, we now have this wonderful thing called API. When I click on API, these are blank. There's no API keys. It'll say add an API key, and there's nothing linked over here as well. But I want an API key. Well, how do I get it? I can't just add one. It's going to say, if I click on add API key, it's going to say you need a subscription. Okay, so how do I get a subscription? Well, I go to Project X, I make an account on Project X, we can see right down here, and then I go over to the this $ for subscriptions. There's nothing here now. It says add a new one. It'll say there's nothing active. I click on add. I use the code Topstep, all lowercase. I use the code Topstep. Instead of $29 a month, it comes at $14.50 a month with 50% off with the coupon code Topstep applied, and I activate it. Well, now that I activate it, I will have the ability to have a linked account. I now have an active subscription. I go back to TopstepX. I click on link. I choose my Project X dashboard, which is my username. It shows up right there. I link it. It now shows as linked. I come back to my TopstepX. I go add an API key. And if I'm not going to do this, I don't want to show my API key because anybody can use it at that point. But that's what you have. And do not show your API key or send it or save it in coding or anything anywhere. Then I get my API key. And that's it. I now have my Topstep account linked with my own API key, and it's linked through my Project X dashboard. Okay, now I'm linked together. So now what? Now, the next thing I want to do, I'm going to jump ahead just a little bit. I go to this URL right here, and what it does, it brings me to this Swagger. It's like a little gateway, a little testing console, and it's going to bring this first one up. It's a sample, so the first thing I have to do is hit try it out. It will come and allow me to change this section for my request. I put in my, this is my Topstep username, okay, because I'm on TopstepX. My Topstep username, the API key that I just got when I subscribed, and I click on execute. When I click on execute, it will run this curl command. It'll run this post, and you can see the correct URL right here, this API URL. And it will give me a response. And there's my username, the full username, and you can see part of the API key, which is right here. We can make this bigger afterwards. It has my request URL, and then it gives me my token. This is what I'm going to need when I'm putting these requests out. This is my token. This is what I need to use. So it knows that it's me. Okay? So let's go back up. I know it's a little quick. I don't have a lot of time. So we'll make sure we go through everything. And that is your process. It's all documented in the Help Center. You can join the Discord channel for some assistance. Here's the link to the dashboard, Topstep dashboard, to set up your practice account. A link to the Project X dashboard to get your API key. And here's something that I really want to share. And this is the GPT. I made this. You can make a custom GPT, and then you give it instructions. And I'm populating it with instructions now as I get more information. So if I have a working code to say, hey, I want to make a bot that goes on a moving average crossover, and it's a fully working code, I'm going to put it in there so we can have code examples. There's a couple out there right now. A few of the traders and coders that have made their own have allowed me to use those, and they're references. But it references the API document. It references Project X. It references the Topstep Help Center. It references libraries for such as Python, C#, GitHub, and this is called learning and training it. So I'm having all this in here and making corrections on it. Like there was something that was put in there and said, "Hey, we can't do this yet." So I made a change to the instructions that it's not giving everything, but instruction based. That's how a GPT works. It just learns, and I have it spidering all these different websites. So it's getting better, but that's going to be your best friend, okay? Going forward, just try this first. I see a lot of questions coming in to the Discord channel. Say, can I open? Let's say, am I able to use multiple accounts? Well, yes. Okay. If you search that, it'll actually show you how and why. And I do have an example. I'm going to pull up it's right here. I called it TopstepX Code Builder, and I will show you how that's used in one moment. I put this in here at the top because there's a lot of questions when you're getting live data using this thing called Signal R from Microsoft, and how do you get your balances, notifications, all the fills, and how you get this. It's a real-time streaming information. So I put this right at the top of the list. So we have them all the links at the time, and I have this here, and then a whole bunch of questions at the bottom that I'll go through. And yes, I will be putting together tutorials and step-by-step videos. Once those are done, they'll be in its own section on the Topstep website, YouTube channel. and they'll be also in the help center, and I will have those in the Topstep custom GPT that I'm making for this API. So it's going to be really cool. Just bear with us though. This came out Monday and this is Thursday. So yeah, you're gonna have a couple little bugs, a couple little issues, but there's a bug report, and just bear with it. And it's not gonna do everything we want right at this point in time, but if you're pretty good at coding, you'll be able to do some good things. So I'm gonna take a quick pause right now and just go over to here and just answer what I can. Let me see. Starting here, no volume. You can't hear me? Everybody can hear me. You should be able to. Okay. A fundamental question for JBI. The benefit of building your own platform versus using the current trade platforms. JBI, right now, there's no automation in TopstepX. You have to do everything manually. This you won't have to. This you can make it automated. If you want to trade between a certain time, like let's say you have a trade time that you like to, let's say you like to trade the open, you want to do an opening range breakout play, but you have an event, a doctor's event, a wedding or something you're not going to be able to, you can code this here, say, hey, take this trade with these parameters while I'm away and start and stop it. Put your own times in there. You get the date and time back, so let it run between this time and this time, start and stop using these parameters, and let it run that way. So yeah, you can certainly do that. I'm doing that. I have this little trade calculator that I built, and that's what I'm doing, where instead of when I calculate my trades, if you've seen it in my Titans thing and I use it personally, I can just put my levels in and click on calculate. It'll give me the zones I'd like to trade. Well, there'll be a button right under that that says place trade, and it's going to go right into this, place a trade for me, and I don't have to, it's one step. Oh, I like that zone, place trade, done. I don't have to go and mark it off and put it in and enter my target and stop and everything else. So it is really cool. Let's see. You can build your own platform, but most people are using either automate. Yeah, you can build your own platform and wrapper and everything else around it, but you don't have to. There's some samples in here. It's a little thing, and go into the Discord channel, and you'll see some traders in there have little video snippets. They'll be like, hey, it's just a little thing that comes up. Hey, this is my trade. I want one contract. This is my risk, whatever, and they run it, and you can see the video. It'll pull the data down and put the trades in. It's really cool. Lisa, will this be able to rewatch? Yes. Is anybody else hearing an audio problem with me? I saw two of those so far. So let me go down and see. Audio is fine. Okay. All right. Because it is recording. I can see it recording and everything. I'm watching the screen on the side. It is going. So we're good. Let's see. What else is here? The doc. Where's the doc? I will put this as a PDF in this chat afterwards, and I'll also put it in Discord. I didn't want to do it now because I want to keep everybody's attention on this. Just jumped in here, so the question might have been asked. Is something similar to building a strategy builder? No, it's all custom coded. I'll go through that also. Rate limit, 400. I'll go through that. Dan, you're welcome. This is cool. I appreciate that feedback. I'm doing the best I can with this. It's a one-man show right now. How do you specify take profit? That's in the documentation. We'll go through it. Discord has been what? Okay. Definitely a ribeye. I need 2 ribeyes after this. TopstepX API, is it possible to take over the world? Asking for a friend. No, but the GPT you can. Haha. All right, but almost a half hour in. This is pretty good. Do you need to have an API or platform open for it to run? Yes. It runs locally. Audio is fine. I sound good. No issues. Okay, great. Credentials error problem. If you have your credentials, that's a good question. If you have your credentials verified on Topstep, and you can log into the TopstepX platform, and then you go to Project X, and you get your credentials there, and then you go to your API, and it doesn't authenticate, that is for Project X. However, if I've seen 100 issues with authentication, 99 of them have been traders using their email address, which is wrong, or their Project X username and password when it should be their TopstepX username and password. That's specifically, I'll pull this back up again, exactly why I put this in here. This is where it gets messed up. Username, I've seen email addresses. I've seen the username for logging in. I've seen Project X. This is your TopstepX username. Very important. And then your API key is the one that you get. when you go to your, where is it? In your TopstepX platform, under settings, under API. Again, here's my, I'm not going to show it. I click show API key, and it will pop up right here in a line. Copy and paste it. Make sure you're linked to your account. You have to be linked to your account. You can verify that by going to your Project X dashboard, going under your user. It shows the links accounts. It shows your dashboard number and everything else. Make sure you have your subscription. Okay? So hopefully that covers some information there. Let's see what else, and then I'll go on. Ability to copy trade for other firms in Project X. We don't know about other firms because you'll need the API key. I don't know the answer. I am specifically focused on TopstepX as it stands right now. However, in the list, in the documentation, if we go under connection URLs, there are multiples. So you would need to go and, like, here's TopstepX, okay? Here it is. And let's say you use only because here's top one. I'm using top because right above it. No connection or ever whatsoever with them, but that would be their API. And obviously you would use their API, their username and password. So for TopstepX, we have ours, and then funding futures, whatever. Okay, so that's where you get all the information. Okay, let me go back to the Q&A. Data delay is, there's not much data delay really at all. Simultaneously, no, I'll go through that. VPS, no, still banned. Place to trade the API, does it pop up on the Topstep platform? Yes. Okay, I'm just looking, making sure. It's 400 calls, Justin. Whatever you pull, it's 400 calls. Video tutorial. Yep, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. Okay, I'm going to move on and go through the Q&A because I had 1,000 of them submitted. As a matter of fact, I will put that link again in here, and it's just going to keep adding on. It's going to help me. It's going to help me to help you. There's that form again. Put your questions in there. Okay, let's go through the Q&A stuff. I'm going to go through these rather quickly also. I want to make sure we get this out of the way. Summary of questions. Here we go. Can we build bracket trailing stops, OCO orders using API? Yes, you can. You can do all of that. You can enter a trade, enter a second contract, pull the first one off. But remember, it's first in, first out when you're talking about futures trading. There's the documentation for it. We showed that before. All the documentation. So how do we add them? How do we place an order? This is how you place the orders. Here's a sample usage. And all this stuff is in that GPT also. I'm going to give an example. How do you cancel? You need to have your account ID and your order ID. This is how you can manage, hey, I have this trade. Once price is in, if I'm in an open position equals true. Once it gets to a certain level, X amount of ticks or profit or whatever, take my order ID, and your order ID could simply be the order itself, and go ahead and cancel one particular stop and then place a different stop order for modifications. Look at that. This is how we have it. There's some responses, some examples. So it's pretty cool. You have all that stuff. Okay. Do I need to know how to program? You do, to a point. Yeah, you certainly do. You can have, like, for example, when you're trading, you're not just going to type in NQ for the document, for the order. Let's see if I can grab one right here. Retrieve bars. Here we go. See, here's your contract ID. This is for RTY. You don't just type in RTY. It has to be in this format. So you have to know how to do these. You have to know that it's contract ID, capital I. You have to know what to put in quotes. How this all works, what's bracketed, what's not. So yes, you need to have some coding information. This is what comes back. So it's a contract for a futures contract under the U.S. exchange. It is RTY. It is the Z month of 2024. So there you have it, okay? That's what it looks like. You'll have to know those things. But the documentation is pretty cool. And if you find anything that's off, go ahead and put it in the forum that's there. The GP thing, yeah, it's live. Yeah, I mean, in fact, I'm going to put these links at the end just so we can have it. It's live, and I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to do a tutorial on it in a minute here. Can you partially exit? Yes. Monitor positions like I just showed. Can the API manage trades on multiple accounts or multiple strategies? Yes, you can. You only need one subscription. So let's say you have 5 TopstepX accounts, 5 XFAs, for example. They all have their own ID. So yeah, you can use it for all your TopstepX accounts, for sure. In other words, you can play. But what you can't do is hedge. You can't say, hey, I have this account, let me go long NQ, and on this account, let me go short NQ. That's going to get you in trouble. You can't hedge. MNQ and NQ are different instruments. That's fine. NQ and NQ are not. People are going to be using this, I would assume, for copy trading, meaning they'll be putting, hey, here's an NQ here, but I want to make my bracket on this one, and I want to place the same trade on my other account, but I want to put a trailing stop on this one. Totally fine. Can you use the API alongside TopstepX platform? You can, but they're not at the same time. So if you have your TopstepX platform, I alluded that before, you run your API, as soon as it logs in and calls the request to pull the data down, it's going to log you out of your TopstepX platform itself. You don't need them to run simultaneously. There's not really a need to look at them once you have your API running. You don't really need the chart up. Look at it afterwards or do your analysis at that point. A couple more. Rate limits, yes, 400 requests can be handled concurrently. Excuse me. API is current. Can we develop custom indicators alerts? Okay, here's a good question. The API is for making trades. It's for automation. You currently cannot create indicators. You can do alerts. You can do alerts in there, but they're not going to pop up on the chart. It'll be the alert. Can we create custom risk controls, flat and reverse? Sure. It's going to take a little more time to do that because you need to monitor. So in other words, let's say you want to flatten all positions at the end of the day. You'll have to call the time of the day and then say if the time is beyond the current time is beyond the time that's being called, and there is an open position, you'll have the position ID. You can close that position and then look for any pending positions, and you can cancel all pending orders. It's all done through the API, through those commands. Can you port strategies from TradingView? This is a good one. I get this asked all the time. So to be clear, you can port them, but they're not directly ported over. In other words, you'll need to get webhook information out of TradingView. Ninja doesn't have it, and Thinkorswim is its own animal, but you'll need to be able to convert those over. We can show you how to do that using the GPT, also using the webhook data and that real-time information. So you can't just go, hey, here's TradingView, do it. Hey, NinjaTrader, copy it over here. No, it's not. First of all, Ninja is also on a different data feed. They go to a rhythmic data feed instead of the CME data feed. And Thinkorswim is its own language also. You'll have to make your own API. So it's not directly converted, but you can take some of that stuff and we'll just flip it over to this type of code. Webhook integration with TradingView supported? Yes, it is. And you can find examples of that in the documentation. Let me go through a couple of these and I'll go back to the chat and I'll give you some examples. We're doing good on time, so about 20 minutes left. Is a webhook integrate? What software can I use? You can use whatever you're comfortable with. I personally use Visual Studio. It's free. It's Visual Studio 2024 is the one I believe that I use. And it's free, and you have the integration in there. And I use C# for my coding. I did a poll in the API channel, and it was Python was the most. There were 78 votes. And can I bring this over? Let me slide. No, I better not do that. I'll do this right here. I'll copy this image. I'll copy this image at the bottom and I'll delete it. So this is what I did. This was, what will you be coding in? So mine was C#, but you can see the majority is Python. I was asked which one to learn. It depends on your knowledge level, but personally, I'm going to go towards Python myself. It's a nicer application. C# is a little on the little more cryptic side. Python is the way to go. So if anybody is asking, say, could you give me a reference? Sure, I would suggest learning Python because that's the future of it. I need to do it myself. I know hardly anything about Python. So what I do is I make things in C#, and then I use a little GPT and I convert it. And yeah, there's a little strange nuances that you have to learn, but like anything else, so be it. And here's the programming languages. You can code in anything you'd like, JavaScript, Python, Java, .NET. However, as long as they can call the REST API and WebSocket connections, it's all in the documentation, you'll be able to use them, no problem. Let me run through these last ones, then I'll go to the chat so I can make sure I get everything covered that I wanted to. We're good on time. How do I get started decoding? Here are a couple examples. We are not affiliates at all. For any of these, I literally just put in and said, hey, give me, what are the top learning platforms that if I want to learn how to code? And this is what came up. So there's no affiliation, no links, no nothing. I'm not even going to put a recommendation out there. I will tell you that I used 1 month to learn some of this stuff, which is pretty good. But you can use Udemy, Coursera, and Code Academy. That's all on your own. Go for it. But the GPT stuff does pretty well also. If you're brand new to it, it's going to take some time. I suggest not just jumping in here and saying, oh, I want to make this, because it's not a copy and paste thing for sure. Where do you get your token? I went through that at the beginning. This is the actual URL, so I put it down here as well. That was at the top here with all of the screenshots. Once you get your API and your username through the Project X connection, you put it in, run this test, and you'll get your token to use for your own API. Can this run on a VPS or in cloud? The answer right now is no, it cannot. That is a term. I was working on that for about a week, and it's not in the books right now. It's just there's too many. There's too much fraud going on with that stuff. You know, if you have your own system, like that doesn't count. Let's say you're in a Mac at home and you're trading on a Mac, and you run like Parallels and you run Windows in there. That's technically VPS environment. That's fine. It's coming from you, from your IP, from your information. That's there. But if you're going to rent something out and lease a server out somewhere and it's a virtual private server, that's VPS. No, you can't. You're not able to do that. It's a violation of terms at this point. I pushed on a little bit. It's still current. If it changes, I'll let you know. But right now, the answer is no. Can you travel and run locally on your laptop? That answer is yes. You're not remoting in anywhere. You have your code on your laptop and you're running it. The answer is yes. Now, if I'm a United States citizen and I will go to France, for example, I'm not violating anything because I'm not like a server somewhere and I'm in a prohibited country or anything like that. I have my laptop that I'm using. It's my code. It's my username. And I'm a resident of the US, which can trade. That is not a problem. So yes, you can take your code with you and trade on a laptop. And hopefully I will be doing that in about a year. All right. Can we copy trade Project X? You can set up the API to do that now by placing multiple orders to multiple accounts. But I will say, keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for a trade copier. Pretty soon, keep an eye out. Can't give much away, but there will be one. Okay, keep your eye out for that, where it'll be kind of an all-in-one system, you know, like right now. As it stands right to now, here today, no, you have to pull all the accounts, say place a trade here, and then use these accounts. That's how you would technically copy it against accounts for now. But again, might be a feature coming out pretty soon. Will this require a third-party tool with custom built? There are no third-party tools. If you're familiar with NinjaTrader, they have a strategy builder where it has a bunch of stuff that you can pick. Do this, do that, do this, do that. There's nothing in TopstepX right now. It's all custom built. Same with Quantower. I love Quantower. There's nothing built in there. I have to do all the coding myself. Again, Visual Studio, C#, and publish them. And the only thing you can do is there's a strategy manager in there where once I load it, I can manage it there, but there's no code builder. I have to do it all on my own, custom build. That's the same way. Can you paper trade? Paper trading would be, you know, equivalent to using a practice account. Yes. I showed you how to do that earlier. Going into your new dashboard, you can scroll back the video and find that. Is the tilt data available? That's a great question. It's not at this time. It is being reviewed because we're not 100% sure how that's going to be utilized, if there's a fee, no fee, the coding behind it, because it's a full aggregation already. So right here, this is May 15th. It is currently not available to pull through the API at this time. A couple more, and then we'll get into here. Where is it? This is code you create private. Yes, it is private. It is yours. It is your code. You're running it on your system. You make it. You're developing it in your own little platform, your own little module that you create. It is all yours. Unless, of course, you publish it. If you throw it to a GitHub somewhere, if you share it publicly, if you put it in the GPT channel, if you want to say, hey, I found out how to do like this type of a funny type of trailing stop or whatever, and you want to give it, I will throw that in the custom GPT as a code reference for the future. So, but as it stands right now, you make your code, you own your code. Topstep doesn't even see it. They don't see the code itself. They're only going to see the orders with that coming through. Just like if you were to click on the chart and do a buy order. It's just going to go through automatically using your API connection. Is there a marketplace? No, there isn't at this time. Again, however, feel free to post what you like in the Discord, and if we need to, maybe there'll be something else going on in the future. Again, folks, this came up Monday. This is 4 days ago, so still kind of bear with me on this here. Can you retrieve candle data non-time based? Yeah, you're going to pull the data itself in real time. It'll keep updating, but since there's no charting, a Heikin-Ashi candle is, I want to say it's irrelevant, but there's nowhere to put it. However, you can pull that data down, get your open, high, low, close, the date and time, and your volume, and say, okay, well, after 5 minutes, this candle closed. Now run that through the Heikin-Ashi formula, and then put like new open, new high, new open, high, new open, new low, new close. And then where you want it to plot, because the Heikin-Ashi is different. The open is halfway up the previous candle. So you can do all that stuff. You're just not going to plot it anywhere. However, I say that because if you do want to use Heikin-Ashi for some type of a moving average, right, as an example, or some peaks, they look different, so they're going to give you different numbers and different levels to go and base off of. So if you want to use it and say, okay, this is what I'm calling, I do have an indicator called HAMA that does the same thing. I pull all that information in, it calculates 4 different moving averages on traditional data, pull a 5-minute chart, open, high, low, close on 5-minute candles. It runs it through every one of those, all those moving averages, different size, different lengths, different calculations through the Heikin-Ashi formula, and I get my own little thing called a HAMA, H-A-M-A, little HAMA candle. It doesn't plot it yet, but I can calculate my trades based off of it. Can I get a full list of tradable contracts? This is the last question. Yes, you can. This is on the help desk article. You can just go to the help desk and type in products or instruments or tickers. It'll bring you to this this page, and it gives you a listing of all of them. Okay, so let me go back. I'm just gonna put this. Where do I want to put this? Let's go back to the top up here. Get my face off of there. And let's go to the Discord channel. There we go. I'm going to keep it right here for a second. I'm going to run through. I only have about 5 minutes left, so let me run through some of these. Please be sure that you submit your questions using that form. Okay, let's get. Oh, I did want to show you here. Here's the GPT thing. So what do I want? I had a line that I wanted to use as an example, just to show you what it looks like. Some GPT. Where's that? I thought I had it in here. Give me 1 second. I did have it in here. Here we go. Here. I'm going to enter this, okay? This is just as an example. All right, I'm going over to my custom GPT. Now it's built because of I said earlier, the references, and this is just an example, right? So I'm simply going to enter this. It's going to look for the symbol. I'm asking it, give me sample code for calling a symbol. Okay, so this one, I happen to choose JavaScript. So if you want to run JavaScript and you run the Node.js on your local machine, sure, this is how you can set it up. And it's giving you need your auth token, like we showed, the signal R client, like we showed in the examples, and it gives you. So this is, look at this. Gives me a JavaScript. Here's a Python example, but I want C#. Convert to C#. I'm going to leave the capitalization because you don't have to use capitalization when you're using a GPT. So here's the example. It's giving me this nice information. And here it is. Okay? Now, of course, it's going to give you things like right here. See, your auth token here. It's not going to be 100%, but it's going to get you pretty close. This is why you need to learn some coding, how you get your signal R connections, how to pull information out. Okay? Let me do this. Can I use, and this will be the last one, multiple targets? Sure. And it tells you how. And here's a C#. Notice the last one was C#, so it's given it to me in C#. And here's how I pull the information. Okay, so it's pretty straight. It's pretty good. It's obviously it's not 100%. Use your own risk, but yeah, it should be pretty good. Let me go back up to where I left off, just to be sure. I'm making sure I'm good on time. 5 more minutes. Forms. So running website, all this stuff is in the information. I'm not going to talk through it if it's already there out there. Traders Post IO, you can use Traders Post IO if you're able to access the REST API. GPT thing is live. Yep. I know these are old questions if some of them are answered, so. Post support. To rewrite code with a contract rolls to new time frame. Yeah, you'll need the new month. Let me go back up here. See this? This is M25. So if it goes to the next contract month, you're going to need to pull the next contract month. So, excuse me. Tick data, no. Manny, no. Top Scott, you're correct. There's no tick data available at this time. If you're looking for tick data, it's a little tough, but you calculate the volume in like a 1 second chart and try to use that. That's kind of that when TradingView didn't have tick data and I was making stuff over there, that's what I was using. I just say, well, give me a 1 second chart and how much volume is coming through at that point. It's close. It's not the same. I understand it, but it's close. I'm asking, these indicators are, no, not yet. I'll try to run through these. What language to code? I went through all that stuff. Anything you want. Python. Oh, what learn to code if you want to use it? Dan, sorry about that. I didn't mean to cut that off. But you can use a bunch of them, and if you're just learning, look for Python. That's kind of where everybody's going this way. VS Code. There you go, Todd. You can go an indicator trade off of. There you go. Thank you. 3. Visual Studio Code is where you're all at if you're using Python. Yep. VS Code. Awesome. Oh, you're running Node.js, okay. TensorFlow, VS Code, Node.js. It's good stuff. Take a look in that channel. Look in the Topstep API channel. 4 minutes left, folks. I don't want to run into the next. I'm going to actually cut a little shorter in case they sign in earlier. It's 12:55. Okay. Okay. Python GPT. I'm gonna cut this off real quick right now. Let me put the in here because I don't want the next class to start and overwrite anything. So let me look at. I want to get the. Here we go. Here is the TopstepX. This is the document. I'm gonna share it right now. This is the document that you're looking at on the screen. Okay, it has all the links in there that you can use rather than populate this whole thing. Also note that I'm doing this again on the 15th, May 21st, 5 p.m. Central Time. I'm doing this thing again. Make sure you get your questions in there. I'm going to modify some of these things. I'll get some updates. Automated trading, non-displays. All right, I'm getting this here. You can't get your token. That's a big question. Check all the documentation and do that first. I also want to just be really clear that this is not a Topstep problem, so don't write into support for these things. They'll just push you back over to a Project X. But the Project X support is here. If we look at it, Project X, click on Contact Us. Okay. There's retrieve bars and the Topsteps Help Center documentation. Let me see. Excellent. Thanks for putting these things. Data Bendo, thanks for sharing. Todd, you're welcome. It'll get better as we go, for sure. As I learn more also. Signal hours for streaming data. Yes, live data. I'm not the GOAT, not by any stretch. I appreciate it. I just have some of the knowledge for stuff working how it's inside. There's a lot of really excellent traders that are in the API channel. I'm learning stuff as well. CPI. Okay, what else? Yes, top. Actually, yes, I have that in here. Make here, right here. Subscribe. Do not share your API key or your token. Do not share them ever, anywhere. If you make a video on it, block it out. You don't want that. Legit, the talent zero is amazing. Okay, well, I'm going to cut this off right now. I have to. I'm going to run out of time here. I don't want to run into the next one. So I guess that's it. Thank you very much. Definitely jump into the next one if you want to see it. I'll have some more information. All those links are in there. I'll do the best I can with answering, but I'm not full-on support person. I'm doing a bazillion hours a day on Topstep TV, so we're trying to do this the best that I can. Bear with me on that. I'm not looking for excuses. Just please bear with me on it, and you'll get a lot of information out of there, out of the API channel, and submit the bugs into the bug report section. That's all for now. I am signing off. This video will be available. We'll put it out there. We'll give it to everybody. And thank you again, Coach Paul. Thanks to everybody here and everybody that's contributing to the API channel. And I will see you all next Wednesday, May 21st, hopefully at 5 o'clock. Until then, take care.